in about 3 minutes. You're listening to Gary on Night Dreams Talk Radio.
If you would like to hear Night Dreams Talk Radio on your local radio station, let them know. Tell them to check out www.nightdreamstalkradio.com, and thank you.
Night Dreams Talk Radio, After Dark, wants to give a big shout out to all the truckers that listen to our show.
And again, without you guys, hauling your loads and all that stuff, we wouldn't be where we're at today, because a lot of our listener base is the truckers out there. And you know what? Big shout out to you guys. Well, James and Lon, I blew your name. I apologize. Are you guys still there?
Yep. Still here.
I'm here.
Okay. What is your latest book there, if you can tell the listeners?
My most recent book is titled Alien Disclosure, Experiencers Expose Reality. That was published several months ago, and it involves experiencer cases, alien abduction cases, encounters from people who had contacted me and people and cases I had worked on over the years.
Oh, wow. So what's going on in the ufology? I mean, right now, there's all kinds of disclosure, not what people thought it would be, but I tell you, it's all coming out of the woodwork right now. It's not a day I don't get people, messaging me claiming that they've been abducted or they've seen UFOs, or it normally, too, September, UFO sightings really dropped down. It hasn't dropped down. It's actually been increasing. So what is going on?
Well, I think people are just looking to the skies more, to be quite frank with you. I know where I'm at here in Pennsylvania, the UFO activity has been pretty strong, but it's been pretty strong for a couple of years now. There seems to be a lot of warp activity, but the Black Triangle sightings, particularly in the area of the Susquehanna River Valley, north and south, do seem to be kind of heavy at this point. But nationwide, yeah, I think there have been a lot more sightings recently. I don't know what's causing it. As far as the government disclosure, well, we're only going to be spoon-fed what they want to show us. So, as far as what we're seeing now, if that's what people want to call disclosure, then fine. But quite frankly, there's much more out there.
Oh, yeah. I've been in radio since 76, and the UFO thing started in the 80s, like mainly the mid-80s. It really started, being a major topic on radio, on talk shows. And it's funny, things have changed. I remember then people would call up and they say, I saw a UFO. It was like 25 feet in diameter or 50 feet, or in some cases as big as 100 feet. Now I'm getting people on that they claim that they're the size of a Walmart store. and it seems like it's gone from something small to huge. I just don't know. I have not seen a triangle, so I can't say how big they are. But again, I guess maybe we're being visited by a different species or race of aliens that we haven't been in the past. So maybe that's the reason why they're getting bigger. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they do seem to be getting bigger now. Are the black triangle craft, the large black triangle craft, are they possibly a military government? I mean, nobody really knows. But there do seem to be a lot more being seen. And, I mean, I really can't answer that.
Yeah, it's a subject. It's really hard, and what gets me is that I get a certain group of people that claim that, well, these aliens are here to serve man, to help protect man, and that there's like 25 million cloaked UFOs circulating the Earth to keep us, safe. And then I start thinking, well, gee, if there's 25 million cloaked UFOs going around the Earth protecting us from what? Ourselves? They sure haven't done anything to protect us on like Antarctica wars or anything else. They haven't got into anything. But you hear from some of these people who claim that they were been abducted, like Calvin Parker, Dave Edmonds, a whole bunch of people, Timothy Collin, all this stuff. I get the impression of what's going on out there. These aliens that are supposed to be here to protect man aren't the most friendly, protectors of humans that we could be wishing for.
Well, I think there is malevolent and there is benevolent to a point. They all have agendas from everyone I've talked to, who I've worked with. Why they do what they do, it's hard to tell. I've heard several type of scenarios as far as abductions, what had happened during abductions, people that have disappeared without a trace, never to return. Why this is happening, I mean, we really don't know. Is there some type of agreement with the world governments as to the abductions, if there's any agenda that they have with the world governments, something else we just really don't know. But, basically what I set out to do was to get the actual stories from those people who did have the experiences and try and make a little sense out of it. People have a lot of questions. I probably get a call every day of somebody who says they've been abducted, quite frankly. And, a lot of it's kind of hard to believe, but then every once in a while you'll get someone who will come forward and make you start to think that, something definitely has gone on. I've been working with several people for many years that have had continuous encounters with various beings, and it usually doesn't become static. It usually changes to a degree, and but it's something that they're most likely going to experience for the remainder of their life.
So, what type of stories do they tell you about their abduction? Can you share some of them?
Well, in particular, there's a gentleman by the name of David Eckhart, who I've been working with now for more than a decade. He lives in the area around Pensacola, Florida. He's had starting about, I'd say about 15 years ago, he and his family started to notice activity in and around his bedroom at nighttime. They didn't know what it was. They thought maybe it's a spirit, some type of infestation of spirit energy, but they couldn't quite figure out what it was until David started putting out recording equipment and was able to capture a 3.5, 4 foot tall being that was seen in the area around their bathroom door in the bedroom. Not long after that, they started to become something started to come into the bedroom, some type of cloaked beings, which eventually manifested into like a gray-like beings. Sometimes they were hybrid humans, looked very similar to humans, and of course, there was usually the same one reptilian that was involved with this activity, and they would be coming through a portal on the far wall of the bedroom. It would just literally open up. And when he was taken, and his family was taken as well, and they would take him to certain locations that he believes were on the earth, in particular a cavern, large cavern underground where there were other beings used as slaves, including humans and other alien races. And it seemed to be a mining operation of some type, but all through the underground, there were living accommodations for these reptilians, and they seemed to be the overlords, the ones that were running the operation. But for some reason, David was given the opportunity to see this, to be able to get an idea of what was really going on. The one reptilian that he was put with him the whole time didn't particularly like David, from what David said, but he was basically told that he had to do it. That was his job. And David was taken to that location. There was another location. He doesn't know if it was on a craft. He doesn't think it was. But there were all kinds of strange devices. One was used to transport people, other beings. He is also, and I have pictures of them in the book, the drawings he made. And then at one point he was taken to a location he was sure was an underwater location. He only really talked about that one or two times, but he was taken there. But this went on for a long, long time. And in fact, the abduction started and ended after about 8 years or so. Then, since that time, David is living alone now, and these beings, another group of beings, and it has changed. I mean, there have been different types of beings that have come forth, but mostly now what he's experiencing are humanoid type beings that resemble possibly human hybrids. And he has caught some very interesting photographs, which are also published in the book. But, it's an ongoing saga with him. And, it's pretty remarkable what he has been able to capture over the years. And, quite frankly, at this point, when I do get a report, I do refer David to these people to talk to them, to try to get a feel of what's really going on with them. And, he'll give me his assessment, then I'll go from there.
Now, any of these things, I don't know if you know who Mary Joyce is. She runs a UFO Bigfoot reporting center out of Cashiers, North Carolina. Now, she's been on my show quite a few times. She told me one of the times being on the show, and actually quite a bit before she was on the show, that maybe back 5-6 years ago, a person who was really connected with the government high up had every top secret clearance you could have, came to her and explained that there is an underground base in North Carolina that the military has, and that they're working with these aliens But what she said, what this guy said, these type of aliens are not the friendly ones towards human. They're cannibals.